Hi guys and welcome back to the channel. In this video I'm going to be reviewing a wall mounted vacuum cleaner made by Giraffe Tools. Now there are several benefits to a product like this which I'll cover shortly, but let's first start with how it arrived after ordering. We'll do the unboxing and then we'll see what assembly is required before we can actually start testing the product. So let's make a start. The packaging design is quite minimal, with a white wireframe diagram of the vacuum and accessory holder printed on the front, then the blue section contains the Giraffe Tools logo and contact details. It does have a sticker stating the box weighs over 15 kilograms, however the shipping label lists the weight of the box at 27.4 kg, so bear that in mind when lifting it. This side has a sticker with the model number and dimensions on it. The back shows the Giraffe Tools logo. And the other side of the box has a similar model sticker and heavy package cautionary label. The box is sealed using clear sellotape. Inside there's the instruction manual, an installation template for the mounting brackets, then a polystyrene tray containing various vacuum attachments and brackets. Under the tray is the wall-mounted vacuum wrapped in a plastic bag. This looks mostly pre-assembled and is well protected in this packaging. The last item in the box is what looks like a foam filter. I'll remove the plastic bag so we can get a closer look at the unit. This looks good. There's a hole on the top which is presumably the exhaust. The power cord is tucked in at the back. The vacuum hose is nicely coiled on the drum. There's the Giraffe logo on the left and the end of the hose on its guide, which looks to be covered in silicone grease. The right side has a serial number sticker, pilot holes for a bracket and a large orange handle for the under tray. The left side has a vent for the electric motor and a matching orange handle for the under tray. And the rear of the vacuum has two large brackets that must hook onto the wall mounting plates. The instruction manual lists all of the parts which come in the box, although some I haven't seen yet and the foam panel filter doesn't appear to have gotten a mention. You need a drill, hammer, spanner and screwdriver for assembly, and there doesn't appear to be any restrictions on where you can install the unit, although it does recommend at least 47 inches from the ground maximises the auto retraction function. It does mention the remaining parts are in the under tray, so let's open that up now. It looks like all of the remaining parts are stowed here, top marks for the quality and compactness of the packaging. There's the wall mounted accessory holder, one of the wall mounting brackets, the vacuum handle, the other wall mounting bracket, a crevice attachment, a couple of floor nozzle attachments, another crevice attachment, a bracket, another bracket, and finally another crevice tool. The mounting brackets look heavy duty and appear to be powder coated. They also have rubber pads to presumably help locate the unit when hooking it onto the brackets. I'm assuming these will also dampen any vibrations from the vacuum when in use. I'm first going to test fit the brackets to see how far up from the bottom they need to be mounted. That looks to be 10 cm to the centre of the lower mounting holes. I've set up my laser level central to the width of this board, with the horizontal level where the lower mounting brackets need to line up. I'm not mounting the brackets directly into the brickwork, instead I'll be fixing it to this panel which is securely fastened with tie straps for supporting the weight. I'll secure the template with masking tape ready for drilling. These are the screws, plugs and washers provided for these brackets. However, as these will be too long for my setup, I will be using these bolts instead, which are the same thickness and strength. Now I'll drill the holes. Each bracket needs 4 screws, 2 on top and 2 on the bottom, 8 in total. Next, I'll remove the template and install the brackets with the large rubber pad block on the bottom. Because I've drilled these holes the perfect size for the bolts I'm using, I need to thread them using the spanner. After lining up the brackets as per the template, I'm tightening them all up. Off camera, I also installed nuts and washers behind the panel to ensure these brackets aren't going anywhere. Next, I'll test mounting the vacuum onto the brackets. This would be easy with 2 people holding it. I don't recommend doing this on your own unless you fancy a workout. I just wanted to check the unit was fully seated. However, you can see on mine it isn't quite resting on the top rubber pad. There's a small gap in between, so the unit must be resting on a different part of the bracket. Now I gave this a quick measure before I decided to mount it here, but let's make sure I can open and close the garage door without hitting it. Bear this in mind when choosing a location to install yours. I wanted it to be as close as possible to the front of the garage and didn't want to relocate the hose pipe reel beneath it. Using a level on the front, the vacuum protrudes from the wall 47 cm, about 18.5 inches. Looking at how it mounts to the wall, I'm sure an inch or 2 could be saved here if the design was modified to optimise how much space it uses. Next, I need to build the accessory holder. I need to fix all of the mounting brackets onto the metal backing plate. However, I'm only going to attach the side bracket for the extension tubes so I can see the total height this bracket will take up once fully equipped with all of the accessories. These mounting fixtures use the smaller silver grub screws, the longer black screws are used for the vacuum handle bracket. Now unfortunately, I cannot fix it next to the vacuum because the electrical conduit pipe is in the way, so it will have to go over the vacuum on one side or the other. It's also too tight to fit on the right hand side too. Now this accessory bracket doesn't weigh that much, and neither do the parts that mount to it, yet you have these massive bolts to secure it into the wall, when realistically all you need is something like this. The problem is, the mounting holes on the bracket are way too big for a screw. Ideally it would have been helpful if they provided holes like this along the bars so that at least you had the option to secure it using a different method. So I'm going to use a hole punch and drill my own holes into the bracket. Now with those drilled, I'll mark it level on the mounting board, ensuring there is enough room for the exhaust filter which goes on the top left of the vacuum. There's 4 hooks on the front which will be used for the floor cleaner attachments. Don't press down too hard when attaching the grub screws as you don't want to snap the plastic hooks. Next, clip in the accessory mounting plates and secure with more grub screws. Once that is all done, attach it to the wall. So this vacuum comes with a great range of accessories. We have a couple of extension poles. This floor cleaner has wheels and a pedal on the top to extend the bristles at the front to help clean. This floor cleaner has a couple of squeegee blades along the front and the back, which presumably is to help pick up liquids, which I didn't realise this vacuum did. There's a wide crevice tool, although this is slightly bowed in the middle. And then the usual sized crevice tool. This is the sort of thing I would normally use to clean down the side of car seats. There's a floor brush here, and its neck is adjustable, so it creates a 90-degree elbow. And then a slightly wider floor brush, although this one isn't adjustable. That's all of the vacuum attachments mounted ready for use. Now it's time to install the vacuum nozzle mounting bracket to the right hand side of the unit with the 2 remaining black screws. This is the exhaust filter, which presumably stops anything from falling into the vacuum when not in use, but must also help deaden the noise of the motor when hoovering. Slot it over the hole on the top and then turn clockwise to lock it into place. I've had to invert the lower floor cleaner so it doesn't get in the way of the air filter. However, this still works, so it isn't an issue. Finally, the vacuum handle. This has on and off buttons which communicate wirelessly to the vacuum unit, which is handy instead of having to go back to the machine to turn it off after using it. This looks like a flap to reduce suction or to clear blockages. Pull the hose out slightly, then you can see there's a collar which it clips into. Line up the tabs and push the parts together until it clips into place. The handle then rests nicely on this side bracket. Don't forget to pull out the tab which isolates the battery during shipping. I've not yet got it plugged in, but you can see here there's a little red LED that lights up to show it's sending a signal to the vacuum. I'll first give it a go pulling the hose out of the garage. Pulling at this angle causes the hose to collapse when it reaches the end, so I need to pull it out straight to get the rest of the hose off the reel. If you give the hose a quick pull, it causes the barrel to lock so it doesn't automatically retract when you release the tension. You can see here, even with the car parked the other way around, the hose is still long enough to reach this end. I found if I pull it out at this angle it can fully retract without having to readjust my position. Now with the vacuum installed at the front of the garage and the car parked outside, you can see here the hose reaches the front, so say for instance if your car had a frunk or you'd parked it the opposite way, it would still reach the boot. And it also gets around the other side without any issues. So there's plenty of length to be able to reach all doors around the car without having to move it. Let's see how good it is at vacuuming the car. This has good suction, better than the existing vacuum I was using. The crevice tool is good for hoovering up the larger bits, with the brush tool getting into the carpet to hoover up finer dirt and dust. The on and off buttons work without issue when I'm as far away from the vacuum as the hose will let me. When the vacuum is plugged in but not in use, it consumes 0.8 watts. When the vacuum is running, it consumes about 950 watts. To retract the hose, give it a little pull and it will release the lock. slot the handle into the bracket and it's all nicely packed away. To empty the vacuum, simply release the 2 orange clips on either side of the unit. The tray is supported by these brackets here, allowing you to get your hands underneath first to move it out of the way. Reattaching is the opposite of removal. First slide it onto the brackets, then place the orange clips back on and push close to reseal the tray. To conclude, I think this is a really good addition to anyone who needs a vacuum for cleaning the car or garage. Mounting it on the wall keeps it out of the way. It has all of the accessories you could ever need, which are all conveniently stored on the supplied accessory bracket. It has a powerful motor which cleaned my cars with ease, and the hose is long enough to reach all around the vehicle without having to move it. It's just under £300 from Amazon or direct from the Giraffe Tools website, which I think is great value considering the quality of the machine and the included accessories. I've put a link in the description if you want to find out more about this product. Well guys, that's it for this video. I hope you found it useful. If you did, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Subscribing's free and it just means any future videos I release will automatically appear on your feed without you having to search for them. Thanks again for watching and I'll see you on the next video.